Hello everyone, I'm Brian and today we're doing a reaction to Let's Check If You're Brainwashed About India. So I'm gonna go ahead and say no to that one, but depending on how she phrases the questions, we'll see if maybe I am. I mean, depending on how it's phrased, of course. But the reason why I say I'm not is because I have no preconception of India or Indian people. I mean, maybe, I guess I do, because some of the cartoons. But I'm honestly excited to find out if I am brainwashed about India, even though throughout my entire life living in America and the news, I've not seen anything about India. Just cartoons, which I don't ever really take necessarily as absolute fact because there are some truth to a lot of things. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started.
Many of you.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna pause as she. I'm assuming she's gonna ask questions, and then I'll answer. And since this is gonna be quite a long video, I'm gonna get an answer and say why, instead of answering yes or no and then leaving it towards the end to say why I said yes or no. So let's see what happens here.
Have seen people of Indian origin in your country.
Hmm?
How do you perceive them? And how do you perceive India?
Well, put it this way. How do I perceive them? So, again, Indian people. Well, it's I don't necessarily prejudge people based on their national origin. I honestly I don't care where they come from. I mean, if they're good people, they're good people. If they're bad people, they're bad people. Your origin or your country that you're born from doesn't automatically make you good or bad, so that's irrelevant to me. Although I will say we had two Indians that worked with us, and I absolutely loved them. They were so nice, so kind, so generous. Everyone missed them. Naresh was one, and Naresh and Karesh. Their names were so similar. I thought they were brothers, but I don't think they are. But I wish they were still with us, though. They will be missed. They're not they're live. They're fine. They moved to a different company. All right, let's continue on.
Many of you think of India as a country of poverty, slums, dirt, rapes, and caste system. And
Oop, okay, let's go to that. So even in the United States, there's poverty, there's slums, there's all of that. Well, except for the caste system. That's something I was kind of questioning. Is that still going on today? I don't know. So that is a question I would ask. Just to say that there is this stuff going on in this country now. Now, how much of it, I don't know. Much like in the United States, it is there, obviously, but just how much, really.
and caste system. And many of you got introduced to India through the famous movie.
So I wanted to watch that movie. I heard it was pretty good, but I never seen it, so I don't. Well, I guess I can't judge you guys based on that movie. No, I mean, I don't. I heard it was pretty good. I don't know who made it. Don't know what it's about really. I heard it was about maybe this. I guess a poor guy becoming a millionaire. I don't know.
Slumdog Millionaire. And then there are some of you who know India for its Bollywood and yoga.
I didn't really know Bollywood. I did know yoga.
Well, it is not entirely your fault that you think this way, and there is no doubt that India does have its imperfections.
Much like any
But
other country.
India is definitely not what we are shown in our countries. Like many of you, I was also a victim of the mainstream media in my country.
Well, I'm not at fault at that because we have there's just too much going on in the United States to worry about other things unless the United States is directly involved in it, and then at that point it tend to be like a typical American where excuse me, where we only worry about other countries if we are involved in it. There are other people out there who are very much involved with the world politics and all that. Man, politics is super crazy, and it's a nightmare. I will say. You got you got things to worry about in your own life, especially if you're not rich. You know, you're worrying about living a paycheck to paycheck. Where's your next food going to be coming from? Are you going to be able to pay your rent for next month? So I'm similar in that boat. Not that bad though. But so yeah, worrying about other countries for me is not that important until I get myself out of the situations that I'm in. I'm not in any bad situation, just to not have to worry about money too much. I so until that point, I'm worried about local politics, state politics, and then national politics. Until that figures out, then maybe I'll start worrying about the rest of the world. But at this moment in my life, I just cannot. So I sorry, no, nothing. I don't see anything negative about India in the media that I've seen, even if I happen to catch the national news or the world news, should I say?
Until I ended up living in India and started to keenly observe this country. And of course, to understand India and its mechanism, one really needs to have fine-tuned senses.
I mean, that applies to about any country, I suppose. Well, I guess that's all I have to say about that one.
Next time you see Indians in your country, remember that their country is being transformed into something like this. However,
Yes, and that's a good thing. Innovation, growth, great economy is something that every country needs in order to get their people out of poverty, as well as education. Education is number one in getting people out of poverty, and two being just having a good economy. Because if there's a great economy, that means business is booming, people are hiring, people are going to school. Another number one thing for getting people out of poverty. I'm not an expert in poverty, but I assume economy and education are really up there.
you are mostly shown only that. And of course, many of you were never told that for many years India has been one of the fastest growing major economies of the world. Are you worried that India...
Oh, hold on, let me go back to that. Let me take a look at that. GDP. What? Why is this USA, then it goes to India over here, and China, USA, India, USA. I don't understand that. Oh, okay. This is the years. Oh, okay, I see now.
Okay. Are you worried that Indians are stealing your jobs in your countries?
Nope.
No, you are not fully informed. Perhaps.
No, but it's really cool to see that Indian people are coming to our country and making these jobs, especially very specified jobs. Specified, sorry, very what do you call it? Very specialized work jobs. Because again, look, if you meet the qualification, irrelevant of where you're from, and you can get the job, get the freaking job. Don't worry about like, oh, hire an American or whatever. No, I'm sorry. You hire the best qualified person regardless. So long as they're here legally and they can do their job, that's all there is to it. Irrelevant of where you're born, irrelevant of what your nationality is. So long as it's all legal and everything, hey, more power to you.
You do not know that Indians are also providing thousands of jobs in your country, and they are doing it in different parts of the world.
Again, I'm sorry, I have to speak my own mind. It's like, obviously, all countries, there are Italians that come over here, French, German, whatever. Everyone who comes over here hopefully are able to create jobs, and if nothing else, work the job, I don't like to sound like exclusive, but yes, anyone that comes here, hopefully they can create jobs regardless of their nationality.
There are more than 800 Indian companies in the UK, which employ around 110,000 people. In the USA, Indians-owned firms employ more than 600,000 employees. Have you noticed that when the media in the West talks about rapes in India, they rarely talk about the rape rate statistics?
I've never heard of anything about rape in India. So that is, again, you talking about Western bias. I mean, not in my part. But yeah, no. So I wonder when this was taken, actually. United Nations.
It is because India is nowhere close to the Western countries in rape rate.
I will say though, you have to take into account how these things are calculated and whatnot. But at the same time, I'm kind of curious about what year this was done. I've heard that Sweden did really go up. I was curious about this because during this great immigration out of Africa, um, I was hearing all these things from the news about about um, about people coming to the country and doing this kind of stuff. It was nothing from India. It's mostly South Africa, maybe Middle East. It's because of a certain culture or something. I don't know.
Because India is nowhere close to the Western countries in rape rate. Yes, I'm aware that while talking about rape, one must consider things
Oh,
like
okay, yeah.
underreporting, marital rape, homosexual rape, false filing, law.
And it's so complicated to do that kind of thing because yes, there's underreporting, overreporting, and it's just terrible to even talk about it. But I understand.
Of rape, conviction rates, and many other factors.
And what is considered to be rape, especially here in the U.S. Again, I can talk a lot about the U.S. There's some people who are trying to push that looking at someone wrong is considered rape.
And that is why I sincerely recommend you to dig a bit deep into this.
Absolutely, never ever take your information from one source.
Before you become a victim of the mainstream or fake stream media.
Fake stream
By the
media.
way,
That's so much like. Sorry, but yeah, and then in kind of the U.S. Even though again, hear nothing about India. That's what's being thrown around right now in the U.S. It's like, oh, this fake news, fake this and that, and it's going to be true to some degree. Our media biases, left and right leaning media biases, and it's just you can never take it from one source. That's why I never take it from one source. What I do is I listen to it and then I talk about it with people and to see what they say about it. It's never something that I want to know a definitive answer for because I'm going to be studying for it or whatever, but I just like to talk to people about it, especially people who are part of the subject matter. Okay, sorry, I'm talking a lot, but it's all again in context of what's going on here.
Also told that the so-called developed countries do not only have a much higher rape rate, but also their citizens travel abroad to rape the citizens of poor countries. Europe, North America, Australia, New Zealand are some of the main sources of international child sex tourists who
Probably.
perform sex crimes in other countries. Were you also told that many Western women travel abroad to enjoy female sex tourism?
Whoa. Never heard of that one. What the hell is that? Hold on, let me read that again. Were you told that many Western women travel abroad to enjoy female sex tourism? Hey.
Female sex tourism, and it is difficult to believe that the boys who are hired by these rich women are in some cases not underage. India has always been a
Never heard of that thing.
multicultural society, and yes, in one way or another, discrimination may exist in India too.
Again, like in any other country.
But wait, which country is crime-free? Is your country crime-free? Is there no discrimination in your country?
No country is
India
crime-free.
is a
No country doesn't have any discrimination. All countries have it. All countries have everything bad and everything. Well, I want to say anything good, but most countries have everything bad.
Country where its minorities are allowed to thrive and grow in numbers and also in percentage. India is a country where many dharmic traditions like Jainism, Sikhism, Buddhism, and Hinduism were born.
I will say, out of all the religion, I kind of want to study a little bit of Buddhism. Not so much so, but just curious about it. More along the lines of the not belief of God, but I believe the pillars of Buddhism. I guess the thing that I kind of follow a little bit in Buddhism, which I've always have, but I didn't realize it was part of Buddhism. But I kind of want to study it a little bit more. Is the giving 110%, but not expecting anything out of it. You know, I mean, we kind of, as humans, we do when we put effort into something, we want it to do well. That's pretty obvious. But you know, and if it doesn't do well, we get hurt. And that's the thing that I kind of want to read up a little bit more on. I don't necessarily get hurt, but it's like, wow, damn, that sucks. I guess I have to try harder next time. And I guess that's my mentality. It's a little bit like Buddhism. I'm not too sure about the other ones because I did take world religion, and I believe my teacher there might be he was Hindu. I'm not sure. I can't remember. I believe she was Hindu. She had well, the dot I think is something else in terms of cultural, but it could be part of Hinduism as well. But yeah, she was really cool. She taught us about a whole bunch of different religions, and Buddhism really kind of stuck out to me.
And the people of India have even accommodated the ideologies and religions that did not originate from their own land. When I first heard of Indian caste system in my country through our media, it was not even mentioned that in India, not only the minorities, but also the members from those societies which are also known as low caste, end up becoming presidents, vice presidents, prime ministers, and chief ministers. Has the media in your country told you about this when they talked about Indian caste system?
Okay, so no, again, sorry to say, but the media that I watch had nothing to do with India. So the caste system is something that I've heard in history books. I think I've heard it somewhere. I don't quite remember where, but it wasn't through Western media. Well, I mean, like the books that you get, it's Western media, and everything obviously in the West is going to be Western media. So obviously it's going to be Western media, but it's not like it's not something that's constantly being thrown at us or anything like that. I heard it somewhere, and I can't quite remember where though. It might be through my history books, maybe. And again, it was talking about the past of India at one point. But is that still going on today? That's my curiosity to ask my viewers. Let's go ahead and continue going on.
Has the media in your country also mentioned that India has already had a female president and a female prime minister? I know that in many so-called developed countries, many low-skilled immigrants from poor countries are purposely and temporarily brought to do low-class and dirty jobs. These poor people are kept in substandard conditions, and after the job is finished, they are sent back to their own countries.
I know I've heard like they have hiring agencies around here, but I mean there's like I know there's a big immigration issue in the Mexico border. I know they're looking for jobs and everything, and it sucks that some countries don't have enough jobs. I'm quite familiar with that, but like it's even from my country of origin. Like I'm honestly amazed. It's very similar to Mexico, where they come up here, just do any kind of job, and they send their money back home to their families. Same thing with my country as well. Um, but yeah, I mean, even sending that money back home, they still live comparatively significantly better lives than what they do at home because there's just no jobs back home, and that really sucks. All right, let's go continue on.
Developed countries make the most of their strong currencies, and their own citizens shy away from doing small jobs.
That's opportunities for people who are in fact seeking jobs. There's again, this is a lot of I guess the problem kind of in the United States, especially with people who believe they're entitled to work like high paying jobs or whatever. They can't bother to do dirty work, like, oh, I can't flip burgers in Burger King, I can't shovel, I don't know, whatever. They're too high maintenance. I don't know, too high up for that kind of job. Oh come on, I grew up doing those kind of dirty work. It's a lesson for sure to make you want to work hard at school. But yeah, but I mean, and I don't necessarily say that's a good thing, but at least now these people are definitely willing to do these jobs because it's a really good pay compared to, I guess, where they came from. Again, something very similar to my country.
These developed countries are so smart that they perform oppression on the humans that they import, and then later, very cleverly, they dispose them. Can we call it exploitation too?
Well, I don't know. It's all contract too. Now, mind you, if they came here legally, obviously they're not supposed to be here in the first place. If they came here legally, there's actually many immigrants who are not U.S. citizens that are actually living here, and they've worked their way into the system, and so long as they're doing good, they don't get deported at all. They can stay here for like 10, 20 years as non-citizens. Um, Now, I don't know what's going on in terms of what store she's speaking about. It makes it seem like they were here legally and then they're being treated unfairly. Well, depending on where they are, there's definitely state laws and federal laws that they can get in touch to make sure they're being treated fairly.
Indians
And mind you, U.S. People treat the U.S. people the same way too in some cases.
are extremely self-critical and they are genuinely concerned about their problems. They do have the intentions to fix their problems, and they do not shy away from talking loud against their democratically chosen governments.
That's good. That is very good.
But you must remember that when Indians talk loud about their problems, it does not mean that they want to replace India for anything else.
Of course, not never.
And it
Much like if you should always have criticisms of your own country, you should always look at it in a critical manner, no matter how good it is, because you don't ever want it to stray away from a good path. You should never ever try to relax. I mean, it sucks. It really does. It would be really nice to say, "Oh, finally, we made it to the point of utopia, and now we can relax." But the sad truth of the matter is that you really can't, because there are people out there who are trying to swing it one way or another. Same thing in the United States. And that's the reason why I speak like that, because again, I see it in the United States, and I kind of pull it because we're all countries, we're all human beings. Governments tend to kind of do the same thing. It's just a matter of when.
must be pointed out that Indian media has not really started ridiculing the Western countries yet, even though many Western countries love to present themselves as some kind of role models.
Ooh, you've not seen the US media. Whew, we are very self-critical. And I will say, if you ever I think the thing about not Western media, but just U.S. media, I can only speak for that, is that people love drama. Anything good in the media is great and all, it's fantastic, but I think people have their lives in the U.S. are so good that they just want drama, and when they see that on the news, it gets all the views. I guess that's what kicks up. That's the reason why news outlets show that, is because it's what get the views. That's what they need to make the money. So why show something good and just get so little views when the negative gets you so much more views? So in U.S. media, it's a lot of negative stuff being shown. And I guess maybe that's the reason why U.S. is kind of used to just a negative outlook. I mean, if any country criticizes the U.S., we're like, yeah, maybe. Well, for me, I'd be like, yeah, that's probably true. Fair enough. But okay, let's continue on. Sorry. Oh, good lord, it's gonna go on forever.
These Western countries continue to forget that they can also easily be ridiculed for their wealth inequality, crimes, intolerance.
U.S. wealth. Let's take a look at the statistics here. Top 1% of households. Okay.
Crimes, intolerance,
U.S. wealth disparity.
rapes, poverty, and even hunger. Perhaps
Yeah, and you look at California, it is terrible what's going on over there. US is a little bit different from other countries, I think, just because of how state and federal government works. It's a whole different story.
Indians are more interested in self-correction than ridiculing others.
I don't know about my one video though.
For sure,
Of
Indians
course not all Indians. Of course not all Indians.
know very well that tragedy is not a competition.
Absolutely.
Indians are not only providing jobs around the world, they are even feeding many hungry and poor outside India by their philanthropic work through their temples and gurudwaras. And very importantly, they are not expecting anyone to embrace Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, or Hinduism.
That is great. Not never to enforce your beliefs on other people. That I absolutely believe in. That's why I always like discussing with people, and I always talk because you learn about people by talking, obviously. But like I said, like in some of my React videos of the India, I'm just talking, trying to get some people to correct me if I'm wrong, or if I'm right, confirm it, because I don't know, and that's why I talk. Now, do I say the right things all the time? No, of course not. But that's what the comment section is for. I will say comment section is not very good for discussion because it's just one-sided, and you don't get the emotional detail in how people talk in there. Sometimes people misread it and read it in their mind as something like an assault when it really isn't.
There's no doubt that India does need to improve its modern waste management infrastructure, as many of its streets continue to look dirty, even though an average Indian produces far lesser waste than an average American or
Oh yeah, American are very wasteful, trashful people. I'm honestly amazed we're not number one on that one. Good Lord, Kuwait, really? I'm honestly amazed Switzerland is above us. And Norway. There's no way they are above us. I figured it would be like number one or number two at the very least, but come on, Norway, really? Yeah, I don't know. I think there's something wrong with that one.
European. Also,
Not trying to be a
the per
competition,
capita
but
emissions from India
I mean, USA is a pretty consumer capital, I guess, of the world. If it was something like that,
are so low in comparison to the USA or China. And India
Well, this person is comparing a lot to USA, but hey, I guess greenhouse gases. Oh, okay. Wow, really? I figured we'd be above Canada. I figured China would be up there too. Maybe UK. Yeah, I figured we'd be above Canada. I'm not sure about the rest of them. I figured China would be up there too, quite higher actually.
are nowhere close to the West when it comes to historical emissions. For all these years, you were told about the poor sanitation of India, but you were never told that Indians were also the pioneers in ancient sanitation system long before the Western countries got civilized. But of course, it shouldn't matter today. Even after 70 years of its independence, India is still not open defecation free. The government of India is running some massive scheme to build millions of toilets.
Hey, California has something to learn from you guys.
And only time will tell if that is going to be enough or not.
Yeah, California is a very rich state. There's a lot of rich people living there, and the taxes are so ridiculously high. But somehow they have a lot of problems. I don't understand what's going on. I mean, I'm sure it's very complicated. Politics, it's just is freaking complicated, and they tried many different things to fix that problem, but I don't know, like, if this will be a solution for California.
Not many people know that when it comes to defecation, some citizens in the Western countries have a strange addiction, or rather, a disorder, and this is where a potential exchange can take place between India and the West. India can bring the latest sanitation system techniques from the West, and the West can benefit from the authentic yoga from India, that can help those Western citizens who are suffering from such disorders or addictions.
I will say US is pretty addicted to drugs when it comes to solution to things.
But of course, it can only...
Again, I am super critical of the US. If you even think I am critical of India, oh my gosh, you have never heard my criticism of the US. You'd think I'd actually literally hate it, but I don't. I love the US. I think it has very much potential there, but again, like I say, you should always be critical of your own countries, just because you don't want it to steer too far in the wrong direction. So there's only so much you can really do, but you gotta try.
happen if the Western societies are brave enough to address their embarrassing problems and not just sweep them under the rug, as it is very well known that such kind of disorders and addictions have been reflecting in the Western adult film industry as well.
What? I'm not sure what you're talking about.
That India has nuclear weapons, and it is said that India has the fourth strongest military in the world. But
so, globalfirepower.com, Russia, China. I don't understand the numbers though, so I guess closer to zero is better. I will say, for the United States being such a very small population and country, to have such a large, a strong military, it's because of technology, really. I think we're only like 300 million people, 320 million people in the US.
India does not believe in muscle flexing like China or the USA, and neither it believes in expansionism. And yes,
Okay.
India
That was just because, again, some of the comments I get from below, like, it seems like some of people are trying to flex it a bit. Because, again, I don't care that the US is number one. Hell, it could be India number one, or Russia number one, or China number one. I don't know. As long as whoever's number one is good. That's the real thing that I care more about than whether it be USA or whatever. Because the scariest thing is to have an evil country be number one and start flexing its power. But at the same time, hopefully, this evil, kind of like in World War II, we unite together to fight against it. So again, irrelevant if you're number one, if you're evil, everyone's going to fight against you and you're going to lose.
is not a world leader in everything. It's not a world leader in earning money by selling weapons. It stands nowhere when it comes to earning money by selling crude oil. However, its space agency, ISRO, does earn money by sending satellites in space for a very cheap price,
Very
fulfilling
smart.
the satellite dreams of poor countries, and also by helping the advanced countries which want to save money.
Smart. That's I consider like what do you call it, entrepreneurship, or knowing that there's a market out there and going for it. If there's a demand and you can meet that demand.
It's not a leader in the porn industry, and neither it is a top destination for sex tourism.
It's a very weird topic to talk
Indians
about.
are just very simple and kind-hearted people,
I do
and only
believe that.
some of them know that their land was the richest in the world for thousands of years, and it was gradually pushed into poverty as it was exploited, looted, and colonized by its invaders and colonizers. And these unfortunate victims, who have just tasted their independence after centuries of oppression and atrocities, are finally rebuilding their country in an extremely democratic environment that may slow down things a bit for them, but at least their system attempts to involve everyone in the rebuilding of their nation.
And this is what I truly believe. Hardship for a country or an individual makes that person or country stronger, especially when the people pull together. Kind of like, I guess an example would be like 9/11 for the USA. After that incident, the US pulled. It was remarkable how much people were pulling together, helping each other out, didn't care about your color of your skin. You're an American citizen regardless. And because that was a hardship for the United States, it's one of the more modern hardship. But much like, I guess, everything to time, time heals all wounds, and our wound was pretty much healed, and we kind of forgot. And we're back to, I guess, what Americans do best, trying to find a way to divide the country. It's what it seems like, anyway, at the moment. Hopefully that'll never happen, but and that's what I've said in some of the comments below, comments in other videos, that yeah, British may have done this harsh thing, and I don't know how long ago that was. If that was a long time ago, I hope you don't hold grudges. We need to start working together as human beings, and I hope that maybe if it is something that's recent, that the Indian people can excuse me, Indian people can remember that and use it as a way to strengthen their unity together and to develop their country even better and greater. Again, I believe hardship can make you or a country stronger.
The good news is that India's rise is unlikely to cause any country a demographic trouble, as India's dharmic institutions are not interested to convert you from your religions. Not just that, we are not really going to face any brown supremacy, even though Indians themselves come in all skin colors and features.
Not just that, we're not really going to face any brown supremacy. What? We are not going to face any brown. Oh, as in, like, I guess India, if they become number one, they won't have the brown supremacy thing?
It is also highly unlikely that Indians will hate you, even though many of you may have developed prejudices.
Well, actually, that's not quite right in some of my videos. I understand very few. It's, again, I look at it into the eyes of everyone's a human being. Everyone's gonna get emotional, so that's why I do not believe your nationality doesn't automatically make you a good or a bad person. You have to judge people based on their individual beings.
Against them because of the mainstream media houses, which for some special reasons are overplaying and sensationalizing their problems. Indians are gentle, accommodating, compassionate, hospitable, and yes, they do not have a fake smile. Their smiles are still very real, and most importantly, they are forgiving. Look how they even welcome the people from the land of their ex-colonizers in their country, even today. Before you comment on India, remember that the countries which were never colonized will not easily understand what it means to suffer from a post-colonial identity crisis. India.
Oh, America doesn't really have. I don't know if America has an identity. It is a very young country. Its identity is all over the place. It is almost all cultures combined.
May have its imperfections, and in this process of rebuilding, it will make its share of mistakes, and it will learn from them.
Absolutely. Every country will make its share of mistakes. Absolutely.
Perhaps.
I want to see videos like that. Please show me like dances of India. Like if there's like a historical dance. That's the stuff I want to kind of see. I want to learn about the culture. Like all the videos I'm being recommended are like military and stuff like that. I'm gonna know more about the military of India and know what they're freaking packing. Then I'm gonna know what the street food to eat, or what 12 things to do in India, 12 things not to do in India, 12 things you can do while eating in India. I don't know, like, again, like I said, I wanted to go to Japan some time ago. There are certain things that you can and cannot do in Japan that I was just trying to learn. And I love the Indian dance. I don't know if that's necessarily Indian dance, but the dance like that's really, really cool.
We also need to learn how to build a relation with Indians on equal terms, with mutual respect, without feeling superior or inferior, while focusing a bit more on ourselves to address our own embarrassing problems. See you again.
Okay, so I said that I was not brainwashed about India, and I think so far that stayed pretty true. I mean, you guys let me know. I answered as many of them as honestly I could possibly, as honest as I could possibly answer them. Let's see. Let's find a nice little picture. Breaking news. Not really. Oh, I actually want to see that dancer. She was really... The outfit looks... There we go. Much better. I'm looking at her garden too. I wish they would have zoomed out and showed her with a really nice garden. I wonder where that's from. So anyways, yeah, this is going on. Holy crap, okay. So I answered as many questions as it came up. I answered them as best as I could. I'm sure I could have answered them a lot better. Again, I was put on the spot. Answered it as it came along. I could have formulated a lot better. I could have written a script and all that, but that's not me. Me's just kind of going right off the wing. Good lord, I talk so much. Well, I hope this answers a lot of y'all's questions about me, or some questions really. If this answered everything, good lord, that was very simple, but at least some of them. But this was actually quite interesting. I'm always curious about this kind of stuff. Like, I don't know, are you biased towards or against India? Me? No, of course not. But I'm wondering now if Indians are biased towards Westerners, because I'm sure majority aren't, obviously, but there are. It seems like there are some. Again, we're all human beings here, so it's not really that big of a deal. Alright, anyways guys, that's all I have to say about this video. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.